You're not a serial killer, are you?
What?
You're not a serial killer, are you?
Man, come on, man.
Greg Harris isn't really a serial killer, but by now, cops believe he is a wife killer.
How many have you killed?
Kill no damn body.
You haven't. Just your wife.
Oh, man, y'all crazy. I'm serious.
Huh? Just your wife?
Never killed my wife either.
The evidence starts stacking up, and it all points to Greg as the knife-wielding slasher who killed his wife, Chiquita Tate. The phony tip about the lesbian love triangle, his sister, made it all up.
Sure enough, she fessed up to the call, and I'm thinking, this is very odd.
Chiquita's Gucci wallet found on Gardere Lane. Cops say Greg dumped it there to throw them off the trail. And as for the cold cheeseburger, just another crumb to establish an alibi.
He cooked his own goose, so to speak. And the truth came out.
But what will help prosecutor Prem Burns prove her case goes beyond stale burgers and slimy fries. Test results from the bloody glasses found inside his car.
My boss called and said there's a DNA match to her husband. So I got on the phone with the crime lab, and they went, yes, there is her blood. We just found on some safety glasses. And they were like, it's her DNA on his glasses. As I said, I don't need any more than that to run with this case.
Harris was charged with second-degree murder, pleaded not guilty, and bailed out. The high-profile trial lasted 16 days, with Harris strolling into court like he was a celebrity.
It's like O.J. Simpson. It's like some people have this persona about them. Every day he came into court, he was on bond. He would dress like Mr. GQ. He would have his sunglasses on, a beautiful suit, very nice-looking man, very elegantly holding himself. And it was like, look at me. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have done this. But all I could think of was the rage of wielding that knife that many times, striking her, taking away that potential for the rest of the world.
And the hair that was clutched in Chiquita's hand? Investigators say Harris planted that too.
Forensic analysts said how it appeared to him just to have been cut.
Cut straight across the
Straight
top.
across, as if with a pair of scissors, which is not something as a result of a tussle or a fight. And what better thing to do if you're a male and you've killed her than to make it look like a woman is responsible for this killing.
You asked me, where did I go?
But what clinched the case was when jurors saw this dramatic moment.
Come on, Greg.
Initially.
Show it down.
Come on, Greg.
When detectives tricked Harris into admitting he was on Gardere Lane immediately after the killing.
When last time you been on Gardere Lane?
Gardere Lane? I went to Gardere Lane last night.
I remember the reaction of the jurors when they saw that portion of the tape, and they were kind of like, okay, gotcha, gotcha.
They got him. But instead of second-degree murder, the jury convicted him of manslaughter.
Were you surprised with manslaughter?
Very upset. We all argued either it was he did it or he didn't do it. And it was very clear the defense attorney never argued manslaughter. This was all manufactured by a pretty decent criminal, but he got caught and he got convicted.
Still, the judge threw the book at Harris, sentencing him to 40 years at hard labor. But this story isn't over yet. Remember the Duharts? Harris's defense attorney, Lance Unglesby, argued in an appeal that the Duharts' now dead brother, Denard, actually killed Chiquita.
You've never ruled that out.
Never.
Do you think it's possible that they could have set up her husband?
If you track the accusations against them, if you read their police reports, they clearly were sophisticated enough as criminals to do that.
The appeal was later dismissed, and now Harris sits behind prison gates, still not admitting his role or showing remorse.
If he really did it, I have forgiven him, but I still want to know what happened and why.
You said that when you saw the body at the crime scene, that you whispered to her. that you would get justice for her.
Yes.
And now that it's all done, did you do it?
Yes. Yes. I wish he had gotten more time, but he will be an old man. His life will be over by the day that he's released.
Despite his 40-year sentence in the brutal murder of his wife, Chiquita Tate, Greg Harris swears he's innocent and is hell-bent on getting a new trial. So we brought in Crime Watch Daily legal contributor Jesse Weber to break down what could happen on this appeal. Why do you think they didn't charge him with first-degree premeditated murder?
Louisiana is a little bit different than the rest of the country. When we think of premeditated, deliberate murder, we think of first degree. In Louisiana, that first degree statute is for certain categories. One is if you've intended to kill somebody in the perpetration of a felony, so something as of kidnapping, if you kill somebody in that way. It's also if you murder a police officer, if you murder somebody under the certain age, a minor. Every other kind of murder is second degree murder.
Why manslaughter and not second-degree murder?
That's the question that's driving the prosecution nuts. They said that he got a lucky break here. And you have to believe that the majority of these jurors, remember, it was 11-to-1 split. The 11 of the jurors felt that this was manslaughter and one felt that this was second degree. Those 11 jurors felt that this might have been a sudden provocation. That's what manslaughter really is. It's a killing, but it's not that deliberate, pre-planned murder that we usually see in kind of cases.
It would be the fact that he snapped.
And the reason is because he has had such a history of domestic violence, particularly with Miss Tate, that they might have felt that this was an argument that got out of hand, and he maybe didn't intend to kill her, but it ultimately resulted in her death.
There was unidentified male DNA under her fingernails.
And that is a huge point for Mr. Harris because courts really want to find that forensic DNA that says, you know what, it is beyond a doubt that someone else did this. Will it rise to that level? Maybe not. But it is definitely in the right direction for Mr. Harris to try to investigate that.
Jesse, as always, thank you for your insight. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Greg Harris deserves a new trial? Sound off right now on our Facebook page. I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.